Hello and welcome to another episode of You Might Want to Sit Down for This Podcast. We're coming at you with episode number 16, Sweet 16. Just want to take a second to recognize this podcast comes to you, is recorded from the traditional territory of the unceded Coast Salish territory of the Katzie, Kwantlen, Makwi, and Stolo people. So unceded land meaning it was never surrendered. It's important to understand the long-standing history that brought us together on this land, and just so you know where I'm coming to you from. So my guest today is my good buddy, legendary drummer, Sean Sellers. You might recognize Sean from such bands as Good Riddance, Beasto, Blanco, Pulley, Versus the World, Vulture's Wake, Real Mackenzies, Downcast, formerly Authority Zero, played with them for a while. Sparker, this fucking dude has played in a lot of bands, and he is obviously a sought-after man because he's a kick-ass drummer and just a rad dude. Super fun episode. One of us might be getting a little tipsy in this interview. You guess which one it was when you listen here. But yeah, we had some fun, man. We've been buddies for a while. Chatted a lot about music, and I think one thing I really took away from it is just like Sean, like 30 years pretty much into his career as a professional musician, still just like super stoked, super passionate, loves what he does, and it really comes out in this interview and of course the work he does, the music he plays. We will be checking out some Good Riddance on this podcast because, man, that's one of my favorite bands, and that's why I got Sean on here. Yeah, I don't know. Check this one out. We cover a lot of ground. It's a bit of a longer one, so I'm not going to ramble on too long here. Just always got to give the shout out to my friends at Comedy Here Often and the awesome Alexi for doing the sound production. You can always find these podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. All those links are available at www.sitdownforthispodcast. Follow on Instagram at Sit Down for This Podcast. And yeah, or check out Comedy Here Often, www.comedyhereoften.com. Lots of podcasts on there, lots of comedians. But right now, you're listening to my podcast. You might want to sit down for this podcast with the one and only Sean motherfucking Sellers. Enjoy. All right, I'm here with my buddy Sean Sellers, drummer for Good Riddance and probably a dozen other bands. The hardest working drummer, maybe Josh Freese. You're a hard working drummer, man. How many bands you in right now?
I mean, a bunch, but ones that do things. This year, definitely Good Riddance and Pulley.
Oh, you're in Pulley now? Fuck, that's rad.
Yeah, I've been playing on and off with Pulley. It's like 2000. When was it? 2015. Sorry, nice. I had to look at the Pulley poster, and I'm like, wait. Yeah.
Convenient.
That was the first time I played with them.
Nice, man. They're a great band. And where they're are they originally like Simi Valley, but I guess it's not too far from here. They still kind of.
Yeah, they're all still there.
Nice.
He plays with them, but he's super busy with Authority, and it's just kind of working out good. So I'm just doing Pulley this year.
Who's busy with Authority? Authority? You told me Authority Zero.
Chris Daly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays drums for Authority Zero.
Yeah. It's a very incestual scene.
Yeah, he was my fill-in guy for Authority Zero when I had Good Riddance stuff, when I was still playing with them.
Yep.
And then I just got too busy and was like, you take over.
Nice.
And then, Brandon and I did. Brandon left at the same time, and we did Vulture Wake, but I mean, literally that same year, I had to fill in for Chris and Pulley, and it was sort of a like, I got you, you got me. So
As it should be, a drummer brotherhood where you got each other's backs.
yeah,
And it looks like he might have your shirt too. Does he have your shirt?
yeah, maybe. It's not that much.
For those who are not watching the YouTube version, Sean is rocking. He's rocking no shirt. He looks good no shirt. Most of the time when I see this man, he's behind a drum kit, fucking wailing away, and he's just not rocking a shirt, and he's punk as fuck. And I think it fits. Just so you know, that was my shirt joke. What's up with Vulture's Wake? Are you guys still like? Because I guess it must be fucked with COVID. Like you're just trying to kind of get things going again. I imagine in any band or.
So, because Joe and I are just inevitably too busy, we kind of
That's Joe from Lagwagon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, kind of passed the range because we both were like, dude, we're holding these guys back. Like they want to tour, but they can't tour because every time they want to tour or something might pop up, like we're unavailable. You know, we've got Lagwagon, a good riddance, like. John from Flatliners filled in for Joe on a little Canadian run when Vulture Wake was opening for Good Riddance. Nice. So that was rad. We had John who's ripping.
Yeah.
But that was like where we started to realize, and the same thing was starting to happen with me. And I had told Brandon, I mean, he's my best friend, and he was like, yeah, dude, I love you. Thank you. You know, like, yeah, you got a rhythm section that's close to you, they're ready to go. I'm like, you got to roll with it.
Yes, that's cool, man.
You gotta play, and I don't want to be the reason why you're not playing. And Joe's the same way. He's like, no, go play, go.
And that's rad. I think that's cool. Everybody just chill with it, and that makes sense. And, you know, who knows, fucking in 2 years, then they need a drummer, and you're like, hey, I'm not busy right now, and, you know.
And they're working on a new record right now. I've heard a bunch of the songs are really good. They're coming along really well.
Cool. Yeah, man, I like that first. Because they put out an EP and a full length, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got both of those. They're good. Yeah, man. And I've been blasting the Good Riddance all day today. Get me fired up for this because definitely one of my all-time favorite bands. And yeah, man, you're like all-time favorite drummer, bro.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah,
that's
I got
a good dude.
Beasto Blanco. We have we're releasing. We did a live stream.
Yeah.
I guess about a year ago now. But that band is very visual and very different and very theatrical, as you've seen.
Yeah, I saw them down in Miami, and yeah, it was awesome. It was it was metal, dude.
Yeah.
I was like the youngest guy there, probably. It felt like it was like heavy metal parking lot, but like now.
Yeah, it was ripping.
Yeah, it's dope.
So this live stream that we did, the whole floor and the back wall with LED, screens or whatever.
Yeah.
We actually had a dude, and he totally because Calico had this idea to it's more like a movie and then there's segment and we're taking over your stream and there's all these synced up things happening behind us. So she ended up filming this extra footage and it's pretty rad. So we're releasing here pretty soon. And then I finished tracking drums for Versus the World's new record.
Nice.
They're in studio right now. Like Big Chris from Lagwagon's finishing up his parts, and Donald's finishing up vocals.
There seems to be a lot of crossover with the Lagwagon boys. Are those your bros?
Weird. I've known Big Chris and Derek the original drummer was one of my best friends, and he's the one that taught me how to play punk rock.
No way. I never knew that, man. That's fucking rad.
So I've known, wow, probably, you know what? I can totally tell you. Actually, seriously make that happen. Thank you, iTunes, for telling us when records come out. Let's go
I cheated earlier doing that, where I was like, because I wanted to talk, and we will talk about the last 2 Good Riddance albums, and I was like, I can't remember the name of the one, and I'm like, boom, easily Spotify, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, fuck, technology.
Dude, seriously.
Yeah.
See, oh, now, where is it? Where's Trash? So, 1994.
Trash.
Is when, like,
did Derek play on Trash?
Yeah, he's the original guy.
And that fucking, the drums on that song are or that album are fucking insane, man.
But I'd actually say 93, 96. I probably met Derek in like 93. But starting in 94 is when him and I became like brothers. And literally, like, I lived in Isla Vista, the little college town. Hung out with the skaters and the punks, and I was in punk bands, hardcore bands. But Derek and I just connected.
Yeah.
So every day, Derek and I were literally come over, hang out for a bit, and then we just play drums. We played drums for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Back and forth, and you know.
I was gonna ask that. How does that work? Like, cause I don't play drums, but like, yeah, you just take turns. You're like, check this out, and then it's like, fucking check this out. Yeah.
He'd start playing, and I wasn't me going, hey, check this out. It was more like, hey, dude, show me how to do that. Right? And then in like 95, so I had been in this like new wave kind of ska band.
Really?
That actually was a major influence on the Mad Caddies.
Oh, what was the band called?
Barker.
Like Travis?
No, Spark.
Oh, Sparker. Okay, I got you.
Little Santa Barbara band.
Yep.
But like, we were fun.
Yeah.
We were like a weird little phenomenon. Like, dude, we were pulling like 300, 400, 500 people to a show. It was super bizarre. Like after like 6 months.
That's rad.
And dude, we were so like weird underground phenomenon in Santa Barbara. We got paid to play a high school prom.
Ah, that's amazing.
Because like half like, you know, juniors and seniors were all our fans, and they were like, we want Sparker at the prom.
Yes.
So it was like Sparker and a DJ. Okay. Yeah. But it was super rad, and actually the caddies saw us, like half of the dudes, Carter, Chuck, and maybe might have been Keith. We played this festival, and like we lit up the crowd. We played, it was with They Might Be Giants, and everything was all mellow all day. Like, dude, there was no security, you know, a couple people. We just go. Crazy energy, dude. All the cops are lining up as barricade, you know, security. Like, we had like a 30, 35-minute set. We maybe made it about 18 minutes, and then it was like, you guys are done. We're seeing pictures, and the crowd are just legs in the air. But 3 of the caddies were in the crowd, and they were like, that's what we want to do. We got to do that. We got to do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I've had 2 of those caddies you just mentioned, one ex-caddy now, on this podcast already. Yeah. And Chuck was saying in the interview that he was talking about going to ska shows in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, these stories are coming together. That's fucking rad. He might even have said Sparker, but I didn't know who the fuck he was talking about until you just told me. Did you guys put anything out? Can I find your tunes?
Maybe on YouTube. We actually did, but it never came out. I mean, this is 93, 94, 95.
Yeah.
Vinyl, cassette tape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's where it was, and it was a little local label.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, I don't know.
It's somewhere. It's somewhere.
Let's check out technology. Let's see.
Let's do it, man. I'd be down to check it out. I'd love me a little bit of ska. I'd love to hear that. And I love the Mad Caddies, so I mean, any band that influenced them, that's I would love to check that out. That is a punk rock bowling poster behind you, hey?
Oh yeah.
That's a good time. I'm really hoping I can somehow. Actually, I guess I can travel to the States. I think we just can't drive across, but we can fly there. So it looks like I'll be there this year. Are you going?
I'm playing twice.
Oh, who the fuck is Good Riddance on it?
Yeah.
They are, aren't they? Yeah, on the main fucking stage. Dope. Oh, are you on a fucking? Are you doing a club show too?
No, we're on main stage.
Main stage. There's so many bands, man. This is a good lineup this year.
I know.
Maybe I'll do a little. Maybe I'll do a little crowd surf for you in the main. I have. The last one I did, my pants fell off and Milo saw my dick, so I really need to redeem myself.
Yeah.
It's Vegas, right?
It happens.
Totally.
Yeah, so I'm playing on Friday. I'm filling in. Chuck from Good Riddance has another band called Seized Up with the old singer from that old band from the 80s called Blast.
Yeah.
You know, they were the Black Flag era on SST, the whole deal. So Clifford sings. Our buddy Danny B, who was in All You Can Eat, I believe. He plays guitar, Uncle Chucky on bass, and then our buddy Andy from the Distillers plays drums. But Distillers have shows during Punk Rock Bowling weekend, so I'm gonna fill in for Andy.
Nice.
And Seized Up's playing main stage Punk Rock Bowling on Friday.
Oh, cool, man. Oh, I feel like I heard Seized Up recently.
That's pretty good. Pretty fun.
Yeah. Are they pretty heavy? Like, yeah.
That's good times.
Yeah, I went over to Spotify. I had an iPod for the longest time, and I'm on Spotify, and it's harder to keep track of shit because it's just I'm not downloading albums anymore or anything. But
that's why I like.
Yeah, iTunes is better, right? Like for you guys.
Yeah, well, for me too. Like, I can just get albums, and
Yeah.
or I get songs, but like I can get albums, and I make playlists for the different things on projects and whatever I'm doing. But I like it so much better because I'm more. I mean, I'm old. I like albums.
I'm fucking old. I'm 42. I don't know where you're at, but I'm definitely. I listen to albums too, but what I do like about Spotify thing is I'm just liking shit and just like I'll sit at home at night and just dig and find all these bands I've never heard of and find like these old garage bands and lo-fi and Australian shit. So I just have that like liked playlist where I'll just like 5 of their songs and then let it rip and I'm like, who the hell is this? And I just keep discovering new music. But like I said, today was your discography more or less on shuffle, which it's getting me fired up.
Yeah, I mean that's a big one because if you throw in Real Mackenzie's, Beasto, Blanco.
Well, not yours, but yeah, not every band. I mean, Good Riddance. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you play with the Mackenzies too. Fuck. We could probably just do. Hey.
5 records.
Dude, I don't even know. I can't keep up.
Yeah,
I don't.
I did a podcast on Monday, and even he was like, "I didn't realize you were a session drummer," and I was like, "Yeah, dude."
Yeah.
In May I did drums on a band from Montreal called 22. So I did drums on their record.
Cool.
And this guy was like, "Oh, want to do drums on mine?" I was like, "You want to pay?" You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, dude. But it's my job. You know, I did the 10-foot pole record. I played drums on that.
Which 10-foot pole record? Like the last one? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's 10-foot pole rev is about as classic 94. That was a good year.
Yeah.
You got into Good Riddance when about 96?
I got in 95, but my 95. First record was 96.
Was Modern Rebellion, right? What is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Symptoms. No, there's so many fucking titles.
Yeah. Symptoms. Yeah, I remember. I'm not on.
Symptoms and the first one, right?
The first one, Symptoms, and Bound by Ties.
Bound by Ties. So how did that come about? Because it sounds like you were bros with. I mean, because Derek was on Fat, did you know the guys from Good Riddance, or did you meet them through other buddies? Or
ironically, after I met them, Chuck and I realized we'd known each other. Chuck's 5 years older than me, but like one of his really good friends, this guy Caton, the singer of Hyrax, worked at this record store in Long Beach called Zed Records, and I knew Caton. So Chucky and I had met in high school, actually. But he was out of high school, but I was in high school. But like super coincidental, like.
Was his band playing your prom, or?
No, definitely. Like Chucky had seen my horrible high school band, but like we were at shows together. But we, like, Caton was Chuck's super good friend, and I was always hanging out with Caton. So it was weird. It was like, oh, whoa. But actually, Sparker was opening up for AFI, Good Riddance, and Lagwagon in Sacramento. And I got that show because of Derek and Flip and everybody were buddies. Joey came walking out of the backstage and was like, this was in like, maybe Forgotten Country had been out for like a month, maybe. Yep. And he was like, dude. And the drummer literally had pretty much just dropped that he was quitting. Good Riddance needs a drummer. It's like, what? Started talking to him, but then they had talked to Tony, who played in Temple Bowl, who plays in Papa Roach now. So they had their whole summer booked, which included Warped Tour. So they were like, okay, we got this guy. We got Tony. But Tony's out after the summer. He's doing Temple Bowl. Cool. So I had all summer to get ready. And Derek actually helped me get ready. But I spent all summer getting ready. I literally like jammed with them in September of '95, right after Tony. And they were like, fuck, you know all the songs, so all right. I guess we got another drummer. Rad.
Yeah.
And then I went to Europe a month later. Maybe.
No shit. Was that your first time going to Europe?
That was my second time going to Europe. Yeah, I went to Europe in 1992 with a band called Downcast.
Jeez, man.
And I actually, we put out a new record a couple years ago, like 25, 26 years later after we broke up. I had Ryan Green recorded. It's super good.
That's cool. You're going to have to send me some of these things to check out, man. Jeez, there's like so much new music. Yeah, Ryan Green's just, he's just a legend. Like he's had his fingers in a lot of these albums, like the classic kind of, I guess, Fat Records. I just sort of think of him when I think of Fat Records.
He's why I'm in Beasto Blanco.
Oh, no way.
Because he hired me to do their record.
Shit. That's cool. And what I'm thinking right now, like I grew up in Vancouver and we had like DOA and we had SNFU, which kind of came over from Edmonton. Great bands. But there wasn't like, it sounds like in California, there's so many fucking bands. You guys are all kind of going to school together, meeting each other through mutual bros. And I see that when going to, like, you go to like punk rock bowling or just kind of hanging out with buddies I meet who are in any of these bands. It's like, oh, you know him? Like everybody seems to all know each other. And that's pretty cool, man, that you had that. Like, I mean, I had all my buddies who skated and were into punk and stuff, but like to have all these friends in so many dope fucking bands that have like went on to have these amazing successful careers, put out so many albums. So I don't know.
It's like that in every scene of music.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying a genre, but like a scene. So there's a punk rock scene. There you came and saw Beasto in Florida. That's a hair metal scene. And you were like, holy shit, but that's a real deal. Yeah. And it can range anywhere from just like punk rock. Well, none of those cats knew who the fuck I was because I'm a punk rock drummer. Yeah. They totally know now, and now they're like, whoa, wait. And I've had friends, my girlfriend's, her best friend, my buddy Star, he came to punk in the park in Arizona. And, you know, Good Riddance went on at like 5, and it was like hot as balls, but it was still like 5,000 people. And he didn't know anything about Good Riddance. He totally knows about Beasto Blanco. Nothing about punk rock and Good Riddance. And he gets up there and he was like, holy crap, there's like 5,000 people here right now. And like we started going and he was like, they're all long and there's this huge pit. And he was like, dude, I had no idea. And I'm like, I know, but see, now you do.
Yeah.
And there is this whole other thing. So after, when I left Good Riddance for a little while, moved to LA, I auditioned for tons of bands. I was like one away from all kinds of different bands: Puddle Mud, Cedar, Bad Religion, you know, like all kind of spectrum. But I got in this band called Kidney Thieves, and we have a song on the Queen of the Dam soundtrack, and I got a gold record for that. Ripping,
nice.
You know? But like I'm playing to a click track. I've got electronic drums. I mean, it was very much like that band Evanescence. Like we actually came out at the same time.
Okay.
But that band was connected to like kind of the gothy industrial scene, like KMFDM, that world, right? Which is its whole other scene.
Yeah.
That is no different than the punk rock scene. And
just longer hair.
Or, you know, or shorter hair and a little more makeup and definitely all black and paying way more money at the door. That's for sure. But I was like explaining to this band Kidney Thieves, I was like, dude, you don't understand. Like, what we have right now is super hard to get. Like, dominate a scene and then grow from there. Because if you can dominate a scene, then you can get out of the scene and start cross-pollinating. Sick of it all. Epic New York hardcore band, but they're a punk band. Some of the best shit they've ever done is tour with Rancid, take Good Riddance out with them, and then go out with like Crowbar and Municipal Waste and Death Angel. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're just cross-pollinating, and they do what they do, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I had no idea about this damn. Punk rockers are like, when they opened for Rancid, punks were like, well, this is my new favorite band.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about you. And then the same thing with Good Riddance. Like, we're opening up for Sick of It All, and some of their fans were just like, whoa, this isn't like a pop punk band. This is like, these dudes are gnarly. Like, oh, shit, okay. And so you start crossing over a little bit, you know? But you've got to get into a scene. And every scene of music has that. Whether it's hip-hop, jazz, fucking folk, you know? Like, the hardest scene, because there is actually no scene for radio rock.
Yeah, because it's just, like, recorded in studios, I would assume, and someone writes the songs, and
you're hoping
pretty people make a tune.
Well, like,
or make a video.
I mean, in that world, like, because like living in LA, I would see it like, when you think about it, there's no like say you're kind of more of like a classic rocky type of band, or you know, where's that scene? Like, those bands do covers.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like goth, industrial, dance, punk, metal, death metal, grind, speed, everybody, there's a scene. Thrash, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Doing that mega cruise with Beasto Blanco. Suicidal Tendencies is on it. And Good Riddance is open title. And Mike Muir totally remembered, oh, hey, it was awesome. Yeah, dude, no way, fuck yeah. And there were people on that cruise that had no idea who Suicidal Tendencies was.
That's pretty crazy, because they've been around a long time, and they've definitely
80s.
Been successful in punk and metal, right?
Over.
Yeah, for sure. They're kind of one of the first punk crossover bands, are they not? Like them and DRI and stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And so there was all these cats that were like, you know, and Suicidal's got a pit going.
Oh, for sure. They got fucking insane fans.
Going for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like a punk thrash band.
Yeah.
And they got so many new fans from that cruise, because all these dudes were like, I like Megadeth. I had no idea. Wait, this exists?
Yeah.
but it just, you got to do that little step, you know. Municipal
Man.
Witnesses, they're one of my favorites.
Yeah,
but
they're rad.
they can definitely go play with punk bands, and they're gonna steal the show.
Yes.
And then they can totally go out with like Slayer and own it.
Yeah.
And get a bunch of new fans.
Fuck, man, that's cool. That cruise, was that the 70 tons of metal, or was rock? Which was that?
No, it was Mega Cruise. It was 2019.
I remember that. It was right before all this COVID shit, because I think I went on the Flog and Molly cruise around that time.
Yeah, there's going to be another Mega Cruise, I think, in next year maybe.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds like it'd be fun. I imagine a lot of sunburns. There's probably a lot of people who've never, a lot of long sleeve metal shirts and long pants, and all of a sudden on a cruise, a lot of white skin, I would think.
Yeah, no, it's going for it. Rad.
Nice. That's rad, man. What about Good Riddance? Are you guys have you guys been working on anything, or?
We're just getting back into the swing of things. We've got, I think we might have like a greatest hits thing coming out. We've got shows this year, and then obviously the things that keep getting canceled, getting pushed to next year.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah, but we're fairly busy next year. We definitely like going back to Europe in June, East Coast ending with Pooza Fest in May. We actually kind of talked about it maybe a month and a half ago and really looked at the calendar, and we're like, all right, almost every month we're somewhere. Cool. Whether a little run or short run. I think we'll be I know we'll be up your way, I think next September.
In Vancouver or Canada?
Vancouver might be sooner than that.
Nice.
At least as far as like what we hope for, and we've given our booking agent of like, we all said yes to like, here's a rough outline. Can you make that happen?
Yeah.
And Margie's badass, and she will.
Nice.
So, but I think we tied maybe Vancouver in with just like a Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, because then we have a separate run of like Edmonton, Calgary,
Cool. I might come and hit all those shows, because that's a fun little trip, and I've done that a few times. Done with the caddies and stuff. It's a blast. Yeah. I want to talk about Good Riddance, man. Like I was saying today, like we're up here in Vancouver. I think it's the 45th day of consecutive sunshine with no rain.
No, it's so
another heat advisory. I think there's 300 forest fires burning right now. I mean, they're burning the whole West Coast. I saw on the news last night, or maybe it was on the internet or something, but like Turkey, huge forest fires. And you guys, like when I got into Good Riddance, I was probably like 13, 14, and I was like, I just love this fucking music, because it's like melodic, it's fast, it's heavy. But I think the lyrics were, I wasn't quite ready for like, I don't know, I wasn't into super political stuff, you know what I mean?
Fertile Fields.
Yeah.
But even the, I mean, on Off the Leash, it's one of my favorite songs. It's such a beautiful melody, the whole deal. But you should listen to the lyrics.
On Off the Leash, are you saying?
Yeah, the Maple Street.
What the fuck? This is a Good Riddance tune? What the fuck is Off the Leash?
But Fertile Fields is about, climate change. And
I love Fertile Fields, yeah, man. That's ballads.
That was, 97.
Yeah.
Russ was talking about that, you know what I mean?
Which is crazy, because I think for someone into like the like it was like Propagandy was like, I remember going to that with a bunch of drunk, skateboarder friends, are like, don't mosh, we want you to dance. And we're like, fuck off, like just dicks, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like and I mean, I'm all behind. I love their message now, but just wasn't quite ready for it. But I think your guys' messaging and what you were standing for, a lot of political stuff and the environment, and just fucking against like homophobia. And I mean, let's say you're a feminist band, you're pro-feminism, like you're looking out. There's really deep themes, and they kind of seep into your brain slowly as you, like, I love the music, but you kind of listen to the lyrics as you get a bit older and you're like, holy fuck, like that's a deep song. And
Russ and I came from kind of the same school, so the reason I play music for a living is that band Downcast. I could have went to college and ran cross country, full scholarship, University of Laverne. Yep. Go to Europe and Downcast. Don't make any money and starve. Well, I'm going to go to Europe and Downcast and fucking starve. But that band, you know, I mean, we're talking like their record came out in like 91, 92 maybe. And they were one of really the first like punk hardcore bands that were pro-gay, pro-feminist, you know, all vegan. That's how I grew up. That was my first introduction into a touring band, into this like political, you know, next level. All these guys are college graduates. I mean, I'm this little dipshit kid that family fell apart and I just want to go play drums, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, that's how I grew up. So getting a Good Riddance is like so almost like a no-brainer, meant to be, because of where I started with a band touring, and like, you know, I fell right into that, you know.
And they must have been stoked that you had that behind you, right? You had that experience, or you had that belief system, for sure.
Yeah, like Russ definitely knew, you know, but so did Chuck. I mean, they both knew who Downcast was. They knew who some of my hardcore bands were.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good.
Fuck yeah, man. And I think I'll say, like, for veganism, I made the leap about 5 years ago, and Good Riddance was a huge influence in that, because it was like out here again, a song that would be really heavy lyrics about, you know, animal abuse or whatever. Yeah. It's like, and it would finish and it would have me thinking like, fuck, like I'm eating a fucking McDonald's cheeseburger right now as I listen to this. Like, I kind of feel like a piece of shit. I want to get behind that. And it really got me thinking that way. And I don't know, man, I appreciate that it was like, that really had a lot to do with Good Riddance and your lyrics and your music.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Don't ask me if this cider's vegan, because fuck me, man. That's hard to know, huh? Like beers and wine. I try to be on it.
Not anymore. Just Google it.
Yeah.
So like my girlfriend is a celiac, and she has a very severe gluten allergy. But you know, thank God everything has progressed super hard. It's actually really easy. Like you can just Google it. Like Good Riddance back in the day, touring in the 90s, and even Downcast, like going to Europe was easier. Like being vegan, vegetarian in Europe, dude, they got it. They got it way before.
Before America, I'm not really surprised.
But Good Riddance, dude, Linda Carter, original Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Been vegetarian since the 70s. Ironically, my girlfriend grew up 70s, 80s vegetarian in Oklahoma, and they actually have, ironically, like way more options. But anyways, Good Riddance, we had a book. Linda Carter put out a book, like Vegetarian's Guide to Eating in America.
Yeah.
You know, she toured and she did shit. So we had this thing on our dashboard, dude, and we, you know, this is old school, so we're looking at maps and everything, and like, you know, we toured the U.S. 2-3 times a year. So, dude, we had it dialed in. Dude, we had shit highlighted. Like, we knew random places in Florida because of this book.
Yes.
In the 90s, like, it was a gamble, you know, definitely eating a lot of Olive Garden. Chili's had a veggie burger. All right, you can get veggie fajitas.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, but then we'd find, like I said, middle of Florida, this huge, like what now would just be a Whole Foods. I'm sure it is a Whole Foods, but back then it wasn't. Massive veggie grocery store, and then a deli next to it. Dude, it was right off the highway. You had if you didn't know, you didn't know. But we knew. And we're always like, yeah, dude, go to the pit. Every time on the way down, fucking hit it on the way up. Hell yeah. We knew all the epic like Asian restaurants that did all kinds of fake meat. We had places all over the U.S. and we had them all in that book.
I get it. I am me traveling myself. I don't have to use. I mean, now you have things like Happy Cow that just tell you it instantly, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But you remember the good places. When I was down in Miami, I was trying to get you to come to that Full Bloom. Full Bloom. Shout out to Full Bloom and South Beach. Just got nominated, or they won like the best vegan restaurant in America.
Ripping.
And it was a pretty. It might have been TripAdvisor or something. So it was like a significant award.
Right.
Somebody with some experience, some names, some followers.
So like I said, my girlfriend being celiac, the easiest way for me to make sure she's all good when we're out traveling is find a vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
Vegan, gluten-free. Bam. And they're everywhere. Dude, we were down in Cancun and I like typed it in. And even the hotel though, every restaurant had vegan, gluten-free options. But we went into downtown, we went into Playa del Rey and even Cancun, and I just typed it in, look, vegan, gluten-free, just like, see what happens. Bam! Lists.
Nice.
Like, ripping everywhere now.
Yeah, and Mexican food's pretty easy to do vegan and be, like, delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
You know, we go back and forth. You know, he definitely, when he was going through the cancer, we strict vegan.
Yeah.
And now we're so skinny, you know, we eat fish. We pick and choose our battles, if you will.
I understand, because sometimes I get loaded and I eat, somebody orders chicken wings and I'm like, fuck it. And it's usually not a good day the next day.
A little rough.
Oh yeah, definitely. How's Chris doing anyway, man? That was pretty fucking heavy, hey? Like,
yeah. No,
are you down to talk about that a bit, or? You just froze. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That was scary, man. Like, fuck, he's young too, right? Like.
Yeah, no, he's all good. He's raging. Works like 6 days a week. Got to register for City College here. He's going to do that Monday.
Cool. Cool. Is he playing any music?
No.
Nah?
He's more up here.
He's a smart kid. Were you saying like that you could have ran track? Is that what you were saying? And then you went to Europe?
Yeah.
Ran what is it?
So my senior year, I mean, I got accepted to the University of Laverne. Pulley would have had it paid for. Yeah. So I was in band. Oh, we're going to Europe? But my parents had split up at that point. You know, like nobody was guiding me. So of course, if I'm left to my own, like I'm 17, 18, like I'm going to Europe in a band, dude. Go to college, run. You're dumb.
Yeah.
Go to Europe in a band and move to Santa Barbara.
I think most people would have made that choice. I know, for sure. Yeah, man. And that's cool. It's been such a successful career. That's rad. And you know, you get to make money doing what you love. Like, that's super sick. Doing the session stuff and playing in so many different bands. Fuck. Yeah. Like, how many albums have you been a part of? It's you probably can't even fucking add them up.
A lot.
People have listened to your songs and got through a breakup or become a vegan or like been like, fuck the government, or like global warming is a real thing, and you know, opened a book or flicked on the internet and started looking shit up, man. That's super, super cool. Did you were you just in Mexico? It looked like you had just been somewhere.
Yep.
Nice. Cool.
Something like that, a week and a half ago, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been playing all week, getting back into shape.
Tis summer.
Yeah, I got things coming up. So Pulley shows, good Riddance. I play drums at the piano bar. That's happening next week. So
you play drums at a piano bar?
Yeah.
Dude, that's rad. I've been to like dueling piano kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I have seen that, and that is so fun, man.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Some of them are like 3 hours or 4.5 sometimes, and I don't know what I'm playing next. And Unfortunately, it's been like almost 2 years since I've done it, but I at least now, like on my phone, iTunes, I have like a 5.5 hour playlist of piano songs.
Yeah.
That range everywhere, from like Selena, you know what I mean, like Bieber, like crazy, like Latin music, to hip hop, to classic rock, to modern, like to boy band, to I mean, I've got, because, and when I started, I mean, I had my obvious. I've been to a few piano bars, you know what I mean? Billy Joel, Journey, Queen.
Yeah. Because these are not like, the ones I've been are sort of they're kind of a classier establishment with, it's not a punk rock dive bar.
No, it's not a punk rock dive bar where I play. It's definitely connected to a Hilton.
Yes.
But it is very adult.
Yeah. And do you ever just fucking cut loose or what?
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't have a sense of humor, if you're sensitive, you need to leave. Nice. You're not going to have a good time. If you're offended, I mean, it is definitely like dick and fart and vagina jokes, and like, I mean, it's next level, and it is so funny. And there's definitely shit talking, and if you can't handle that, you shouldn't be there. Yeah. But we also have, God, it's so good, because I swear to God, it's like, the best way I can describe it is like a musical comedy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's an all request show. So you throw down money and we're going to play your song. But here's the thing. You got a big red button on each piano. You can outbid anybody's song by $1.
Yeah.
That's when it gets fun.
And is that like while the song's playing or before the song?
Oh, yeah.
So you can just shut people down.
Shut them down. And you can just like, wait, what did they pay? $10. 15. What do you want to hear? Anything but that.
Ah, that's amazing.
And we hit a button and just all the lights go out. Like, all right, what is it? And then they just start talking shit. And then we go into this other song. And then all of a sudden that other person's like, dude, no, I want to hear my. And then, dude, it's been out of control. But it's so funny. It is so good.
And where exactly is that again?
It's in Claremont, California. So it's like kind of, it's out near all the colleges, ironically, where I almost went to college, University of Laverne. But like the Claremont College is out there, kind of near San Bernardino, Upland.
Oh, that's a fucking haul, man.
Yeah, my dad and stepmom live out in Fontana.
Okay.
And Chris Dowley actually is the one that got me that gig, because he works there too. And he lives out in Fontana, but it allows me to get to see my pops and my stepmom. So
it works out great. Do they ever come out and check it out?
Yeah, they have before, for sure. They had such a good time.
It sounds like fun. Then there's a really good crew of Turbo Yugans out there in the Inland Empire. I've had some fun. I went to a karaoke bar once and they just did like a comedy set, because who gives a fuck? And very fun.
I've invited a bunch of friends out, and I'm like, you gotta let go, have fun, and I swear to you, like, get into it. And because people will pay, like if they have a large group, wedding, a birthday, they'll pay extra money, and then we'll call them out, put them on stage, and sing a song for them and embarrass them, and do just goofy shit, and it's so funny. But it's always a little vulgar. So
I have no problem with vulgar. I want to come to this, dude. Like, I'm like, next time I'm in LA, I'm gonna hit you up and be like, yo, man, do you got this going on? Because I'll make the trek for that for sure.
Dude, it's so good. It's so fun. And ironically, it's so good. And the people I play with are so talented. Like, I feel like a crappy ass musician. when I play with these people because they are so good. But it's like, this show should be in Vegas.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that.
But ironically, because it is so over the top, we can't do what we do in Vegas. I talked to the piano players. They were like, yeah, the whole like stopping songs and the way like we're super adult, like the casinos in Vegas, they don't want that.
You know where I'm thinking right now, man, where my wheels are turning is like, that would be a cool thing for punk bands to do and be like punk rock bowling in Vegas.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, they do that with punk rock karaoke, basically.
Yeah, punk rock karaoke is fun. But is it one band or multiple?
Just two pianos and a drummer.
Two pianos and a drummer. Yeah. So, because that is a little different than punk rock karaoke is a blast, but that's a little different. There's a bit of a competition. There's shit talking.
Yeah. I mean, we're all obviously a team, but like,
your buddies.
Everybody, it's every other song is each piano player, but then they work together sometimes. And dude, they're rad. If somebody throws a 20 up and they've never heard that song before, the other piano player will do their song, and that piano player will bail into the office, pull up YouTube, and they of course have, they'll download the notes and the chart with everything, and they'll listen to it, and we got a little keyboard backstage, and they'll try to learn it in like 5 minutes.
That's insane.
And if they can't do it, like, they're not out yet, like, all right, we're going to do another one, just you. 10 minutes later, all right, here we go. Sorry if it's not quite right.
Yeah.
And we'll just go. And they'll do it to me. They're like, hey, go in the back and learn this song really quick. That's what's coming next, and it's a little weird. Like, oh, all right. And they'll choose one of their requests that they don't need me, and I'll run into the back and I'll fire up iTunes and I'll put it in and be like, oh, I see why you thought it was weird. The little intro, okay. Listen to it 5 times, run back out, wait for him to finish the song, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. Okay, here we go. I'm on an electric kit, and be like, oh, yeah, perfect. All right, cool.
Dude, that sounds so fun, and that sounds like it would challenge you to be a better musician, too, because you got to, like, really be on your fucking toes.
Yeah. I actually get stoked. This woman, Patty, that plays with us, she's so gnarly. She's so good. And she's a tiny little thing, curly hair, and she can throw down hip-hop, like, better than anybody, right?
Yeah.
So she'll do Snoop songs, and she gets so into it. But I love it because the moment the audience sees how good she is doing hip-hop, we start hip-hop requests.
Yes.
Which actually is way easier for me because they know I'm like, dude, just hum me the beat.
Yeah.
Or tap it out really quick, and then I'll just kick in. And they'll totally do that. And when it's a hip-hop beat, like, just, here we go. And then you recognize the song, and you're like, here we go. But now I don't have to worry about, like, fucking boom, 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 boom. Like, okay, I know Phil Collins, but now I actually know Phil Collins because I got put on the spot and went, fuck, I actually don't know how it goes. Like, I thought I did. I know it goes right here, and I totally blew it because I've never even.
It sounds like you got to keep the beers to the minimum when you're doing these shows.
No, but I'm always sober when I play.
Yeah. Good. Professional. A true professional.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, do you play better with a couple beers? Like, no, you don't.
It's true. I found that even, like comedy. I have probably more fun because I'm a bit looser.
Comedy, I could see. I could do sober comedy.
You cannot do sober.
I could. There's no way I could. I've actually thought about this, and like, I'm way more talkative and deliberate. Like, get beers in me, like, I'll start fucking delivering some epic stories to you.
Yes.
And I'm captivated, like, if I laid them out, game on. But sober, I'd be like, how's everybody doing? Cool.
Like, knock, knock.
Yeah, like, oh, sorry, so I got a story. Like, no, it wouldn't work. Like, standing up there doing it, I definitely need beers. But playing, sober.
I think we should. I play a little bit of guitar, and like I at a certain point, I can't fucking play. Like I'm like, and I'm not good, but I mean, I can actually play an entire song and kind of fake my way through it. But yeah, once it like getting close to double digits, I'm like, I just put it down because there's not a fucking chance. I just can't even do it.
I even noticed, like, on my practice pad, like, you know, when I'm running piano bar songs, is I'm just like, okay, I'm pretending to play just a beat forever. So I'll have some beers while I do it, but going at it for like an hour and a half or something, 2 hours, and I'm like, cool. I'll start noticing if I've had 3 or more beers. I'm like,
it's going downhill.
I'm like, dude, it just doesn't feel good. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna listen. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be still working, but I'm just gonna listen. I'm not. You're dumb. Like, you're fired. Like, you're done. You're fired. You're putting sticks down. You can come back tomorrow when you haven't had any beers. Till then, you should just do some homework.
How about we, I think we should probably have some beers and go hit the open mic at Fatty Vegan sometime.
Definitely. I know. I just need to compile some, like, stories.
Like, I'm gonna put you on the spot right now, but what would be one of your stories? What's a good fucking crazy epic or funny? There's gotta be some crazy shit that happened on the road or fucking.
Well, that's the thing, and that's where I need to actually, like, take notes. Is like when I get inspired.
Yeah.
Like somebody's talking and it clicks a memory, and then all of a sudden it's like, that shit's funny. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Some of them, definitely the Real Mackenzies was some of the best times of my life for sure. Like, some of the gnarliest times, like some of the worst times, some of the best times ever.
Because you're with a bunch for anyone, because I have listeners who aren't punk rock. This is kind of all over the listening group. So the Real Mackenzies are a Scottish punk band they're from Vancouver.
Yeah.
And they definitely do not. I don't think they have a sober rule when they're playing.
No.
They like to have a few. Yes.
So, like, that whole "you can't beat them, join them" thing.
Yes.
Like that's a reality. So, you get into a place and you can't beat them, you join them.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't help when old Jazz Note Joe is your bass player. Little Joe from Lagwagon. He played with me in that band forever. Little Joe's my brother for life.
He plays with, doesn't he play with in King City with Keith too, right?
He plays in King City, and he came from that band RKL. Like, Little Joe's one of the biggest bass players ever.
Yes.
And what's worse about Joe, but it's also a beautiful thing, and it's something that I have totally figured out as a musician. So, like, for example, you play guitar. So when I say, like, when you play in the box, right, there's a box of notes.
Yes.
That are pretty fucking standard and consistent with everything you do. Like, if you're playing in, for example, Real Mackenzie's is in 4/4. It's either in, if it's got bagpipes, it's going to be in B flat because it has to be for the bagpipes, or it's going to be in G because that's best for Paul's vocals, and maybe E because that's what Kurt writes in.
Yeah.
Now, it's in 4/4 and you're in a box. So if you're in those keys, and if there's no, like, wacky jazzy dude like in Vulture Wake, we'll call it. So I'll get in actually a good one about Little Joe. This is my favorite. This is why his nickname is Jazz Note Joe.
I've never heard that before.
If old Joe's had a few GTs, little gin and tonics in him, he all of a sudden becomes Jazz Note Joe.
I'm going to get him on here, and he's going to tell his version of the story, by the way, too. But carry on.
So, in something like the Mackenzies, you know, for example, like, there it is. And so, Joe, and it sucks because I'm like, dude, I want to be that rad. Like, so Joe can just fully fail. But if it's in the box, he just keeps playing, and all of a sudden, it's like the raddest thing you've ever heard in your life, right?
Yeah. And he's
like,
just like
dude,
jamming, basically.
It's so fucking gnarly. But really, he has actually no idea what he's doing right now. Yeah. But he's in the box, so his fingers just go. And it's totally fine. Epic. God, it's so good. He's so good that way.
And I feel there's a but coming or an end.
But, for example, Vulture Wake. Brandon, definitely kind of a jazz player. Brandon doesn't, like, he likes to play right outside the box. So, sure, it might be an E or D, but there's also a cool jazz note just right outside the box that now makes it unique. That's right up Joe's alley.
Yeah.
But old GT Jazz Note Joe comes into town. And then the best, where were we? I don't know where we were. We were somewhere. We might have been in San Jose, actually. I gotta tell you, Joe put on, hands down, the greatest performance of his life while playing all the wrong notes.
Oh my, that's hilarious.
And he was owning those wrong notes harder than anybody has ever owned the right note. I mean, we're talking foot on the monitor, and he, and like, cool, dude, you're like not even in the ballpark, bro. Jazz Note Joe was raging. It was so ripping. We were dying laughing. Like, you can't even be mad at that point.
No, like, and can you laugh on stage, or are you just trying to keep straight faces somewhat?
There gets to a point where you're like, at first, you're like, really? Like, are you kidding? And then it just gets to the point where you just start watching him, and you're like, fuck, whatever. Like, thank God there's not that many people here, but Jazz Note Joe over here, wow. I mean, dude, where are the 10-foot flames, bro? And it was so amazing. And we were dying laughing. And we got backstage, and I was like, dude, what's up, Jazz Note Joe? And I even told him, I was like, I seriously have never seen anybody own the wrong notes harder than you. And that kind of made it okay. Because you were so, like, all bets were off.
And it sounds like he was shredding, so the audience was probably like, fuck yeah, like, dude's having a time.
Yeah, for sure. We did. Me and Brandon were just like, dude, what are you playing right now? Like, wow. All right. You know that's the wrong key, right?
Yeah.
I mean, epic jumps, though. And like, dude.
Just, he's licking the bass, just getting right into it.
I love him to pieces, dude. It's so rad. It's the best. And he laughed about it too. He was like, no. And we were like, oh yeah. He was like, all right, well. We just laughed.
Yeah. Is there YouTube footage of this?
I have no idea. I hope not.
That's so cool that you guys are such good, like, you're playing music, you're having a fucking blast with your oldest, best buddies. Like, that's just so cool.
I've toured the world with Joe.
Yeah.
Like, playing with Joe. Joe is, God, he's one of my favorite bass players of all time. Dude challenges me. But at the same time, like, he's so good, I'll feel down, and he'll come back and be like, dude, I love playing with you because half of the time when now I get it, when he's failing but not failing,
when he's Jazz No Joe.
You know what I mean? Like, he was like, dude, I can count on you to be there. So I can do an oopsie.
Yes.
I've now later in my career discovered the same thing. Like, I can totally go for, like, okay, Neil Peart. I'm like, oh, shit, dude. Sorry, I totally thought that was here. And you know what? I'm just going to keep going. And then we're fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Because I know how to, like, dude, keep the fill going. Don't stumble. Just, you know what? You're in it now.
Yes. And I think but the crowd, I mean, how many people are like that music proficient that they would maybe notice that, you know what I mean? And that's something I learned, like, with public speaking. Like, people are so scared of public speaking, and it's like, if you fuck up, just don't say you fucked up. Just keep going, because chances are nobody knows. And even if they do, they're still like, they're like out to get you and they want you to fail. Like, just keep fucking rolling.
Well, I said a couple of things, and I said this this little kid that I was kind of helping raise for a little while, because she wanted to, like, she kind of had it in her. She was like a little performer.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, you got to remember something. At the end of the day, everybody wishes they were you, because you're up there. Yes.
That's great advice.
And I go in number 2, and I go in my bands, I'm like, if I fuck up, you fuck up. Don't look at me. Don't make it obvious.
Yeah.
Nobody knows until you pointed it out. Why'd you point it out?
Because no effects like to do that to each other, do they not, though?
Which is fine. Like, there's a way to joke about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's funny, which we've definitely, like, gotten to. You know what I mean? But there's also that, like, we don't need to point it out. Like, unless we train wrecked, like, roll.
Yes.
You don't like it if I'm like, really? You want me to keep looking at you every time, like, you blow it? Like, nobody likes that, but nobody notices.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. And
I'm my own worst critic. Like, I'm awful on myself. Like, it's terrible. Like, I recognized a long time ago, I don't see myself the way other people see me.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good thing. Keeps me pushing and driving harder.
For sure, man. I get that. 100% get that.
But, I mean, it's disturbing how often I think I'm crappy and need to do, like, way more work and, like
you come off the stage and you're like, and people are like, that was fucking awesome, and you're like, meh, it could have been better.
Oh, dude.
I can relate to that.
I'm actually, but like, I'm not afraid of watching. I've done this forever. Actually, I gave a buddy some advice today because I played with him the other night, and I was like, hey, so, like, when we play, I'm like, you know, you got to have confidence in your right hand. I'm like, there's a lead guitar player, and then that's it.
You're talking about guitar?
Yeah, I was talking to him about guitar, but I was like, you know, the confidence in it, you know, the owning it, you got to just do it. And, you know, like, I think I'm terrible all the time, but I've recognized, sorry, I lost my train of thought, but in the sense of, like, in my playing, I've recognized, you know, first and foremost, if you always keep trying and taking criticism in a good way, like, you can't be afraid of that. So that was my point. Like, telling my buddy, like, hey, so I'm just gonna throw this out at you, like, you're really good, you're right on your way, but you gotta do some things.
Keep going.
You gotta keep going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I gave him some advice. He was like, dude, that's super rad. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm like, you're really good, but these things need to happen. You know, I'm like, when I play with my other friend, I actually am the co-pilot. He's the driver, you know? I'm like, most of the situations I'm driving. I go, but I'm in a constant battle with myself of, I need to be better. I'm not good enough. Yeah. I'll get off stage and all I hear is my mistakes. I'll be hungover, bummed. I'll never forget hanging out in Berlin. Damn it. Can't have a day off in Berlin and then have a show. It's a super bad idea.
I might be going to Germany, actually, so Berlin is a stop to make, it sounds like, because I'm not doing shows.
It's like a second home, and I got family because of Mackenzie's and Good Riddance and our booking agents, but Good Riddance, we're playing the Club SO36, and I went out with Dave Pollock and my good friend Ronaldo. Bottom line, dude, I was hungover.
Yeah.
I felt like crap. Awful. SO36 is a hot club. Like it's one of those. It's a sauna.
Yeah, there's no AC.
Venue, but it's a sauna.
You're just dripping.
And I was like, I got off stage, and my buddy Ronaldo filmed me. Like, this is the fucking worst ever. Ever. All I could feel.
This isn't Ronaldo. Is Ronaldo Satanic Surfers, dude?
No, he's a buddy in Berlin.
Okay.
And then he sent me the footage a couple days later. I was like, oh, let me see how bad this was. Put it on, and I was like, huh. I played really good.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, really? I was like, oh, wow. I was like, I've been really bummed out for a couple days. Like, that was a huge show in Berlin, and I was just like, you played like dog shit. When I watched it, and I was like, oh, maybe you were like really way too hard on yourself there, hotshot.
Yes, sounds like it, man. And I don't know about you, but I mean, I've done some performances with some pretty wicked hangovers, and I think there's a level of like overcompensating because you're like, I'm such a piece of shit right now that I showed up like this, and I have to kill this. And yeah, so you want it to be amazing. I've got a great record for standing ovations with hangovers somehow. I'm not going to say in what craft. And I'm not going to shit on anybody for standing and giving me an ovation, though that I could be like, hey, disrespect, sit down. Dumb joke, Sean. But yeah, I get that. Like when you're hungover, you're like, you hate yourself. And you're like, I got to do good. I got to do great.
Yeah, you're like, dude, I have one job.
But you still got a little bit of sauce in you.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes for me, actually, it can maybe put me back into the right tempo.
Yeah.
Because I'm struggling a little harder. You know what I mean?
You got to work harder.
Really? I'm hungover and I got to go run like for an hour. Like, this sucks.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm doing when I'm playing with Good Riddance or Pulley. Like, dude, I'm not just kidding if I can hang out. Like, I got to go run.
Yeah. You're fucking wailing on that shit. And that, I guess, like, I can't even imagine, like, how hard. Because punk rock songs, like Good Riddance songs, what, 2.5, 3.5 minutes, kind of the probably average length. So there's a lot of memory in that too, right? Like it's not like you got an 8-minute fucking banger where you're like, oh, okay, like kind of just keep this beat. You got to keep switching it up.
Yeah.
Every couple minutes.
It doesn't matter what style you're playing. Like you look at like Buddy Rich or Gene Krupa, playing jazz, and Buddy Rich was hammering.
Yes.
And flying around the kit. Dude, no matter what, that requires physical, like, shit. Doing Good Riddance, doing Pulley, like when I play for Pulley and I rehearse, which is what I've been doing recently, I'm playing along to Jordan. I'm playing along to Tony Palermo, like
Jordan from Strung Out.
And I'm also playing along to like 30-year-old versions of those dudes.
Yeah.
Right?
In their
So,
prime.
like, ironically, it helps me go back to Good Riddance, and I'm like, oh, this is actually a little bit easier, and these songs are a little shorter. It's like, oh, cool. But I'm pouring sweat, you know what I mean? Like, and I have to actually go, I'll warm up, play a bunch of songs, and I'm like, all right, dude, here we go. It hurts, like, but I do push-ups and sit-ups, and I'm like, dude, I got to get on. I'm 47, you know, like, like, it's no joke. Like, and to do it, and I actually am playing better than ever. I'm more consistent, which ironically breeds you have to actually be more in shape. And I found that, like, I'm a skinny little dude, but if I drop below a certain weight, it's harder for me to play drums the way I do.
Yeah, so you got to stay in shape.
100%. I took like 7 weeks off, really, and I can't do that. Like, I'm too old for that. I was talking to my friend Brandon from Vulture Wake today about that. I'm like, dude, I'm back in it. I've been going all week, but I'm like, dude, I ran the Pulley set and then ran some seized up songs and warmed up with some songs. I was like, well, pooped, you know? I'm like, I'm not far away from having to do maybe Pulley and Good Riddance. I'm like, dude, now it's not even a like skill thing. It's a physical thing.
Yes.
And because I've gotten better and more consistent, that actually requires, ironically, a little bit more and a little bit less. You become smarter, you know, the things I've learned over time, dynamics, calming down. But like, you know, put a bunch of people in there, your adrenaline starts spiking and you become a fucking gorilla. And you're like, dude, what?
Yes. Do you, were you ever like, did you ever have stage fright back in the day, or were you just fucking a banger back there from the get-go?
Ironically, so this is a great story.
Yes, this is
the moment,
what
dude.
We want. Take a hoot, crack a beer, and let's hear a fucking story.
Dude, this is actually the life-changing moment right here.
Cheers, brother.
Santa Barbara. The April of 1992.
30 years ago, almost.
I got in Downcast. I saw a flyer at a show. I'm like, I heard of this band, or I've at least seen their record in the record store. I'm in. You got a record out. You got to be something, Bill. I was still living in Southern California at the time. I was still in high school. Senior. Grabbed the flyer, made the phone call. Dude, I haven't like a year and a half I've been playing drums. Like, I'm shitty, dude. I'm not good.
Yeah.
I'm not good. There's no way I'm good. I'm barely okay. I'm barely okay because I got passion.
Yeah.
I try out for these guys. And ironically, dude, I listened to that record. And you can listen to that record on iTunes at the first record. That
Downcast.
drummer.
Downcast. Yeah. I'm going to check them out, man. Everybody check out fucking Downcast who's listening to this.
The new record is the one I'm on, and I'm actually super proud of my drumming on that. It's Ryan Green and I got pretty rad. But the first record, dude, the drummer, that dude Chris is gnarly. Like that. There's a full length. Check out the full length.
There's two different Downcast. Who the fuck are these? The Downcast.
Hip hop.
Oh yeah, I don't want hip hop. Boom. 2020. Tell me I'm alive.
That's it.
All right, I'm gonna rip that.
But the first one, that dude was like playing drums the way I play now when I play punk rock.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm trying to do this when I'm like barely 18, 17, and I barely playing drums. So I show up, and I'm all passion, and these dudes are all college graduates, you know. I'm a little kid. I'm 5 years younger than him. Everybody. We run the songs, and they're basically having to show me the songs. Because I'm terrible. I don't understand how to learn music. I suck.
Yeah, a year and a half is not very long.
No.
And imagine especially with drums.
So they're real patient, real cool. And I'm all fired up. So did I get it? And they felt bad. They were like, all right, dude, let's let him come out and play one more time because he's so stoked.
Yes. We can't crush this poor kid's fucking like dream and like heart.
Yeah. Not like ruin his life, right? Like let's let him play again, and then we'll find somebody else. This is literally the next weekend. So we played 2 days in a row, and I learned everything, and I didn't forget. So I go home, and all I do is everywhere I'm driving, when I'm going to sleep, waking up. When I'm sleeping and waking up, I'm listening to the vinyl. When I'm in my car, it's a cassette. It was 1992.
Have you taped it from vinyl to cassette, or you have the cassette?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are always hit and miss for sound quality.
Yes. I show up the next weekend, and they were actually like, yeah. He's totally not the same dude that showed up last weekend. You know what? Maybe we can work with this kid. He needs to hit harder. He needs to, like, Dave Grohl, fucking Nirvana. You know, Nirvana barely come out with Nevermind, but they knew Dave Grohl from Scream. But
yeah, because he's an old school East Coast like punk guy, and I don't think a lot of people know that unless you've kind of done your research or read a book or watched their documentary. But he's like,
that's where we all came from.
Yeah,
like I knew who Dave Grohl was from Scream. Holy shit, Nirvana! I saw him play in Nirvana.
Yes,
like they opened for Dinosaur Jr. when I saw them play. When I saw him play in Nirvana,
there
was like 1,000 people at the Palladium, and Nirvana was headlining.
And the Palladium's pretty big too, so that's like, that's probably not sold out. Like they're new. They're like, still nobodies.
But Downcast was like, fuck. Like if this keeps happening, like we might have found the kid. Like we can shape this kid. He's vegetarian. He's a punk kid. All right. So they're like, fuck it. Let's take this kid.
Yeah.
You got to hit harder. Hands are bleeding. I'm just struggling to hit harder. I was wearing gloves.
So you can split your hands open playing?
Oh, dude. Bleeding.
Happen all the time? Like you just kind of shred the sticks or what?
Dude, imagine like hammering nails for fucking hours upon hours a day.
Yeah, just blister. And you're not hammering that fucking fast either because you're like...
Well, and that was slower, but still, like...
Yeah.
Imagine just taking a wooden handle hammer and just with both hands hammering nails for hours upon end. And you've never done that before. Your hands are going to fucking be torn up.
Yeah, makes sense.
So they keep working with me, and they keep working with me. February, March, we got a show. All right, now I've played a show before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I played a show. Now, to be fair, I have actually played on a stage, but this was like a punk show. It was 100 people in a little room upstairs. It was actually a dressing room that we did shows in, above a big venue.
Yeah.
It was a show. You know what I mean? It's like what you imagine, like a old school punk show.
Yes.
1992. I'm ready. Fucking ready. I'm a skateboarder too. I skate and I run across country. I'm playing drums. My big brothers are up here. And these cats were gnarly, dude, when they played a show. They lost their fucking minds, dude. Like, guitar player jumping over his fucking amp. Shit gets destroyed. Yes. I mean, it was like what old school Nirvana was. Like, before Nirvana. Like, gnarly. We start fucking playing. I lost my fucking mind. Yeah. I went from the little kid trying his hardest, like literally, it was like, imagine the skater that's like struggling to bang a kickflip over 4 stairs, and then all of a sudden he's in a competition and just bangs out a quad kickflip over fucking 20 stairs, and just starts fucking
yes.
Dude, it went from fucking little kid to fucking animal from the Muppets to fucking mashing the shit.
You do have an Animal from the Muppets kind of thing going.
Dude, fucking Kevin, I remember, I'll never forget it. In my mind, I fucking see him. There's a break, shit's happening. And he just looks back and it was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
Right. Just like he couldn't even rock out. He was just like. So we had this kid, and then some other dude just showed up.
Yeah, it looks a lot like him.
Fucking shit. And I'm just, and dude, I was sober at the time. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't drink beer.
Yeah.
All I did was live on adrenaline, skating, running fucking 10, 15 miles a day, push-ups, sit-ups, surfing, skating, playing drums, dude, just rad.
Yes.
I was high. I was so fucking high, euphoric high, for like 10 straight days.
It's incredible, man.
I was like, dude, this is gnarly. And then I fucking tore 2 ligaments in my ankle doing a nose slide down a handrail.
Shit.
We had 2 shows that summer, and then we were going to Europe. I just graduated high school, and then this happened. And I'm on my own. My mom bailed. I'm completely on my own. And I hadn't even moved to Santa Barbara yet because I was like, well, I better continue to live at my friend's house whose mom keeps taking care of me. Like,
yeah, you're young
dude,
as fuck.
This is sketchy, dude. I literally was like 6 weeks into being 18 when I was like completely on my own.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man. It's so
and
young.
Going for it. Like, here we go. Figure it out.
That is survival instincts.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But here's where the problem in lies. So.
Is that no slide?
No, I get on that plane. We go to Europe.
Now we tell me you fucked up your foot though? Like, did you actually, you fucked up your ankle? Was it like bad or?
Yeah, I tore 2 ligaments.
Shit.
I did a show playing, again, I'm only a drummer for like 2 years, playing a show with my left foot on the kick, doing a double pedal. Pulled it off, fine. But I was healed by the time we went to Europe.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed, they wouldn't allow me to skateboard.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Which I was like, yeah, that's fine.
You're
so
like
we get to England, and I'm
rock star or skateboarder?
Barely 18. The dude just didn't like our band, so we didn't book any shows. We have no money.
So wait, you flew to Europe. Some promoter was supposed to book you, and then just fucked you? Not literally.
He was supposed to book like our first show in England.
Yeah.
Because that's where it was cheapest to fly into.
Yeah, and get your thing started.
That money was supposed to pay for our fucking ferry and food to get to Belgium, to the mainland, where then everything gets kind of okay because, you know, they care about you in Europe.
Yeah.
So like we had, and this is early 90s, so you're an American band, you actually got taken, like extra taken care of, because that wasn't happening a lot back then.
And is that like, was that because like, just because, I mean, American punk rock with like Fat and Epitaph was just fucking blowing up? Do you think? Or... No, that was before this. Quite
1992. Fat didn't start happening until like 94. 93 is when they like put out Lagwagon, but they were still like, it was a beyond DIY label, but NoFX was becoming a bigger band because NoFX has been doing all these bigger. NoFX was one of the smart bands. Sick of It All, one of the smart bands. Pennywise, Bad Religion. You can call them the old school bands, but which they are, because they kind of, you know, Good Riddance started in the late 80s, early 90s. Good Riddance was our band. We started leaving the country. But pre-us, the bands that led the way, RKL, they were going to Europe in the 80s. Black Flag, Descendants, all. They were going, you know, Fugazi, you know, Downcast went. We all saw that there was a scene there. Back to that whole conversation of the scene.
Yes.
You know, we networked. A band like Aveo, we all networked. And when you network, then you got dudes in Europe. So this dude screwed us because he just didn't like our band because we were too political.
Oh, fuck. He just wanted songs about farting and partying and banging chicks or something.
Or tough guy, hardcore, like, yeah, we're not that. We're like more on that Fugazi level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whatever, we get to the mainland, but like what happened on that tour, I mean, so many epic moments that, and I've even played some of those venues later in life and get Riddance, but moments that I'll never forget about, like literally my hands sliced open from smashing cymbals, taking kid, like peak moments of emotion, music, like that's what did it. Like the band broke up over there and I'm on the airplane coming home and all I can think about is with no money, we got trapped in fucking Heathrow for 2 days. Like we were stealing food from the little like food court. Yeah. Like I had a backpack on them that we were pitching like rolls and muffins and fruit. And like we had enough money to pay for like something to drink and like one tiny meal. And we were just pitching food into my backpack to survive.
Crazy.
And all I could think about was, when do I go again?
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing I've ever done in my, like, all I want to do is be back on stage. How can I get back on tour? That was epic. I booked my own tour with our band the next summer, booked another one, met Lagwagon dudes. And then, you know, it took me literally 3 years from the date that I went to Europe and Downcast, I was going back to Europe and get Riddance.
Nice.
So
I love
can't
it,
quit.
Man.
Gotta make it happen.
Can't quit. You do. Fuck yeah. And like, I love that, man. That resiliency, and that's a youth thing. I mean, but we have it in us. Like, I got stuck. I left my buddy's house the other day after doing some mushrooms at like probably like fucking like 5 a.m. and realized I left my phone and the thing that motors my wheelchair around in his place, so I can't get an Uber. I'm far from home. I've got to figure this shit out. And it sucked. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I was like, made it home. Fucking, I had no fucking choice. You got to get, it's survival.
Yeah. And it's something I've said my whole life. I'm like, look, you only fail when you quit.
That is truth.
And as successful as I am on one level, you know, I've been a single dad for a long time, and my kid is the only human on this planet that I gave the option to not do what I do to. Like, dude, I will stop doing this and go get some job I hate to have maybe a better life, a little more consistent. And he looked at, he was about to be a freshman, and he was like, you insane.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. Like, I'm like, dude, it's tough though. Like, we are going to struggle, you know? I'm like, but, and I got to leave sometimes, and you know, but when I leave, I end up making like more money in a weekend than I would have all month at that job that makes me want to, like, that makes me miserable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That metaphorically speaking makes me want to blow my brains out. Like,
yeah.
How is that fitting you? It's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, no, that's, are you insane? No.
That's pretty cool. Cause I mean, there's like the other F word and stuff like that came out where kids are just like, don't go, daddy. Like, and I'm sure he probably had those moments when he was younger, but he didn't want to like take away his dad's passion. And I imagine there's gotta be like a bro thing going to a dad. Obviously you're a dad, but you grew up like you're single dad, 2 dudes. Like,
yeah,
he knows what you love.
He's my co-pilot. He's my Chewbacca.
Man. Yeah, man.
I mean, I've been taking him out with me since he was like I've taken him on the road with me, like when he was 10. Yes. But he's been going to shows his whole life. Like, he's been with Rise Against and Flogging Molly. Like, Nate from Flogging Molly pulled the couch out because he fell asleep in my arms and I had to leave. And Nate was like, dude. And I'm like, bro, sleepy child. And he was like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm a dad too. He was like, what can I do to get you to stay? And I'm like, I don't know, give me a fucking couch to lay my kid on?
Yeah.
Done. Where do you want it? And then literally 2 minutes later, tour manager comes out and was like, where do you want the couch? And I was like, seriously? I'm holding Chris. He was like 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
are you at a venue then? You're at a venue?
Yeah, at the Marquee in Phoenix. And I was like, I don't know, put it on Nate's side. And then literally he puts the couch down and I'm holding my kid talking to Nate. And I look at the tour manager and people start to go sit and he goes, no, nobody sits on this but that guy and his kid. Yeah. And Nate's like, all right, I got to go back here. We're going to start. And I was like, all right, cool. And I just laid Chris on the couch. Yeah. And he's like 4 feet away from Nate. There's like 2,000 people.
Kids so on the stage.
He was asleep.
Yeah.
Asleep. Earplugs in. Back. And I'm like, well, you're one of us, dude.
Yeah. Subliminally, he's going to get... And Nate, fuck, man. Nate's such a good guy. I actually sent him a text the other day. I'm trying to get him to get on here. Yeah. So right. And if you're listening, Nate, I want to do comedy on your cruise again this year. If Joe Sibb's listening, me and Joe, let's do comedy again because that was fucking fun. Those are my people. I understand punks.
Maybe you and I need to work on a little bit together.
I'm down for that, man. Dude, I'm going to come out there as soon as possible. Come visit Keith. I'll come visit you. We'll go visit John, go to Fatty Vegan, because it's got open mic there now.
Yeah.
And fuck yeah.
I just tried it out. You know what I mean? I've got to know. I can't go free form because then it's going to go to shit.
Don't, because I don't do that either, but we can definitely chat. You can send me what you kind of have in mind, and I'd be happy to kind of try to help you work through it or whatever, man. I'm down. I think it'll be fun.
We'll have to do it this way. It'll be super fun.
Fucking right. So let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, buddy. Well, this is fucking awesome. I could keep doing this all night, but I am going camping tomorrow and kind of some shit to do. And it's been a fucking pleasure. Anything, anything you want to plug or anything coming out soon?
Yeah,
I know we've talked about it, but we talked about so many fucking bands that I can't, my head just exploded.
Follow my Instagram at Sean Sellers Drummer.
Yep.
All kinds of things coming out, that I'm on. If you're interested in that and my drumming.
If you're near Bakersfield, go check out the fucking Dueling Pianos.
Yeah, if you're out in Claremont, Dueling Pianos, I got a bunch of good Riddance shows coming up. Pulley shows, hopefully recording a new Pulley record this year, doing first the world record.
Yeah.
22 Fans record in Canada, that'll come out eventually, and hopefully some other sessions. And
cool, man. And I just got to ask, this is personally for me, because I love Pulley, and I haven't seen them play in a very, 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 very long time. It was actually them and Mad Caddies, and they played that. I think I was going to college, and I was taking public relations and the journalism course. We had to write an article, and I was like, I'm going to write an article on a punk rock show. The first one in Vancouver, I remembered nothing, so I was like, guess I'm going to Victoria tomorrow. And then I was like, this is so much fun that I'm going to go to Whistler and see them as well. But it was Pulley and Caddies. And I don't know that I've seen Pulley since. So I would love to see them again.
Yeah, it's so it's weird. The singer of Pulley, really quick, his brother Brian Brian used to stage manage and tech for Lagwagon back in the early 90s. That's how I know Brian.
Is it the dude who runs the skate lab or something? Doesn't he have like an indoor skate park or something?
Yeah, Brian and Scott kind of run skate lab. Brian now works for NoFX. He's been with NoFX and the Gimmies.
Oh, he's Rugley, isn't it? Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
Is it Rugley? Yes. Yeah.
So Rugley tour managed Good Riddance on a Europe tour in like 96. And I've known Rugley before that because of Derek and Lagwagon, but that tour...
Rest in peace, Derek, by the way, too, man. We talked about it. I didn't kind of go down that path, but he was gone too soon, and a great man and a great fucking drummer.
For sure. But on that tour, Rugs and I, like, we just had this weird connection that, like, whoa, like, we're family. Like, I don't even really know you, but, like, I don't know why I know you. And you know what I mean? Like, super weird connection. And it's been that way ever since.
Yeah.
100%. I never met Scott I met Scott a few times, but never hung out with Scott. I really didn't meet Scott until 2015. Well, when Scott was 21, Scott had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, just like Mike.
I didn't know that.
So wow. You fast forward to 2019, I've now done a few shows at Pulley, and then I actually had 2 shows at Pulley right when Chris got diagnosed. So Scott fucking is the raddest dude ever, but he just steps up. And Scott's got fucking 3 kids. And actually, his youngest son has the same birthday as Chris, same age, everything super rad.
Yeah.
Just was like, dude, you need me, I'm there. So Scott actually came and stayed with Chris when I had shows, and I had a few little runs that I had to do. And ended up, like, after one time was like, so I gotta tell you, I got like a fucking weird connection with your kid. And I was like, it's not that weird, because I got a weird connection with your brother.
Yes.
So kind of makes sense that there's this like little family thing going on here. But Scott kind of mentored Chris through his treatments, and like, you know, Dave, you know, hung out here and really kind of mentored him through it a bit. It's pretty rad.
That is amazing. And I mean, yeah, man, that dude, he's like, is he still working for like Major League Baseball too, right? Like, he's a busy man.
Retired from that. He coaches a little team, and no, he's retired.
That's a kick-ass coach. But that's a rad story, man, and that connection again, which I think a lot of the theme of this has been that we're all connected in this scene or whatever scene through a love of music and a love of live shows and fucking skateboarding and just having fun and living life.
Yeah, dude, never quitting.
Never quitting. What I'm gonna ask you one more thing, because I was thinking this and I just remembered it. What did you think of the skateboarding in the Olympics?
I think that's so rad.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So it's funny. My kid works he works at a pet store, but he also has started serving at a steakhouse.
Yeah.
Called the Tee Off. Now the Tee Off has been here for 70 years. All right. So this is an old school place, right? That's definitely got a lot of old school, just local customers. They're going to come drink and have a steak and prime rib, whatever. So the Olympics are on. The skating going on, and I was stoked. I'm like, yeah. The little comments, and I'm like, this is super funny, because what y'all don't realize, like, the Olympics are changing. Because if you want to keep the Olympics relevant, you've got to, like, nobody cares about the javelin, dude.
Yeah.
And people care about the pole vault. Like,
badminton, is badminton still in there? Like, there's definitely some,
you know what I mean?
Shit.
I'm like,
how is skateboarding not more, or surfing not more exciting than badminton or fucking
what I was about to
grass
say.
hockey? I apologize if anyone likes grass hockey, but
hockey, basketball, baseball, surfing, skateboarding, like, these are sports that require an alarming amount of physical capability.
Yeah, and high risk too, man. Like, skateboarding and surfing, like, you can you said you fucked yourself. I used to skate and fuck myself up, and the shit these guys are doing down the stairs and the rails, like, it's mental what they're doing. It's like beyond comprehension. And
it's like, the discus and the javelin, like, we don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, but like, none of my kids don't care about the Olympics. But the moment you put skating and gymnastics, definitely. You know what I mean? For that matter, put cheerleading in, because that is a gnarly thing. My kid's girlfriend does it. She showed me videos and throwing in the air and hitting the ground. I'm like, oh, dude, tell them to catch you.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? It's another level, and I think it's really cool because it's modernizing.
It is, and it helps. I mean, we grew up in the 90s, or skateboarding in the 90s. I'm assuming I started in the early 90s, maybe you in the 80s. But you got like people turn their noses at you. Like you were a little piece of shit if you're riding a skateboard, and it's rad that it's finally getting its
so I had my
due respect.
My older brother, rest his soul.
Yeah, man.
He's the one that, you know, he comes from the Dogtown school of skateboarding.
Nice. That's like the OG, man.
And then he's 5 years older than me, so he had fueled me into that. Like, he left skating when it kind of fell apart, still kind of did it as it picked back up as like a punk thing. You know, your first, like, you know, Future Primitive. But Future Primitive came out, that was my jam. My brother had moved on to just surfing at that point. Like, nah, I'm just going to surf. Like, skating, it died, and he moved to surfing, biking, doing other things. And I picked up skating.
Yeah.
So I picked up skating literally, like, Future Primitive is when I, like, and I was young, but that's when I started.
Yeah, man.
You know? And then Animal Chin, I was like, what, 8th grade, something like that, 9th grade. I'm like, oh, this is a jam.
I've got a dope Chai Pig shirt that says, "Have you seen him?" And it's basically like sort of a, what would you call it? Like a mock-up or of Animal Chin. Hell yeah, it's a bit
so good,
buddy. Yeah, man. I skateboarding got me into punk rock. Like I saw the two as they were the same thing. Like they were like synonymous with one another. And so it was rad back then because you'd grab videos and you'd get like in the early 90s. Like I love that documentary Punk that did you watch that? That John Barbados and Iggy Pop put out? It was a 4-part thing on like Crave TV or something. But they kind of talked about, Mr. Brett was on there and just talking about how Kelly Slater reached out to him and was like, "Yo, can we play your music on our surf videos?" And he's like, "Yeah, just do it for free. Name the band and fucking, you know, give credit." And that just skateboarding and surfing and snowboarding and punk became like,
I mean,
yeah.
So there were three major things. So for sure, my brother, and ironically, it was my introduction to punk rock was Suicidal Tendencies, first record.
Yeah, great record.
And then the BYO compilation, Someone Got Their Head Kicked In.
Which SNFU was on, the Victim of the Womanizer, am I not right?
So, now again, you fast forward, my brother, like all things, progresses. So as he's leaving punk rock, he's getting in a new wave. I'm following in his footsteps, now getting into punk rock, also new wave. And then as he does that, he progresses more in reggae and the Dead and all that shit. But I'm now skating. So now here's the two major fucking things that happened. Number one, a massive one, skater kid. So my dad, his brother lived in Spokane, Washington. Now remember, this is the 80s.
Yeah.
But his dad had a grocery store and a video store. Now Spokane is still pretty small in the 80s.
Yeah.
Video store. So we golfed. I was a golfer too. Fucking, there's a VHS convention in Vegas. My dad's like, hell yeah, let's go. I'll golf. Stay at the casino. Now, Vegas in the 80s is not kid-friendly.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
There's no arcades and cool shit for me to do.
No circus or all that shit.
Yeah, we stayed somewhere on the strip, wherever the convention was. Whatever, we golfed in the morning because it was 1,000,000 degrees come 10 a.m. But whatever, dude. So we go to this convention. And my dad and my uncle were like, dude, you know, pick out some videos, whatever you want, pick them out and I'll get them for you. Ripping. Well, I'm a skater.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around. I don't care about movies, dude. Where are the skate movies, dude?
Yeah.
And at this point, I've only seen like Future Primitive. maybe Animal Chin was out. I'm like, dude, where are the skateboards? Where are the skateboards? Boom, there they were. They were all the Santa Cruz, NSA, or you know what I mean? They were all the Santa. They were those. Well, no POW videos. They were all the other skate companies' videos, but mostly Santa Cruz, which ironically is where I fucking was from as a little kid.
Yes.
My grandmother still lived. So nonetheless, I get these videos. Now we're talking like the OG ones, like Nautis Compass spinning on the fucking fire hydrant and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you go back and listen, it's all SST on those videos.
Yeah.
That's where all of a sudden I'm like, who are these bands? And now I'm skating with all kind, not from my high school, because I went to a private high school away from my house. But now I'm skating with all these kids around my house. Coincidentally, are all into punk rock.
Yeah.
So I have like Misfits kind of, but they were all into melodic punk, which ironically got me into bands like SNFU, Stiff Little Thing, melodic band, Bad Religion. We cruised into, my Misfits friends were into the hardcore, you know, so Gorilla Biscuits instead, Sick of It All. But they're the ones, like them and those fucking Santa Cruz videos. That's how I knew about Blast, Fire Hose, Minutemen. You know, of course, like Black Flag we knew about and Descendants, but I didn't know about the other things.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, now I know about the other things. And one of my favorite moments is I got to play drums for SNFU at one show.
Oh, that's rad.
No rehearsals, festival in Belgium.
And they're like, did you just come up and do a guest spot, or like the drummer was?
No, they were on a Euro tour, and the one fill-in was leaving, and the other one was coming in, but he couldn't be there for that one show.
Yeah.
And I be at that festival with Authority Zero. So Randy, who was playing guitar at the time, just called me. It was like, "Can you play for us for like a show?" And I was like, yeah, "Of course, whatever."
Yeah, like that's a dream come true, man.
No problem.
Well, I'm out of beers, but I'll throw one up. I think there's a little bit of piss in this one, so we'll have to say a cheers to Mr. Chai Pig as well.
Good Riddance tour with SNFU in '96.
Nice.
First time ever meeting Chai. Chai and I always got along, dude. Chai loved me. I can take that to my grave. I know that for a fact. He wrestled me a bunch of times. And we had fun. He was stoked.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. And I know that you guys are all fans, and like that's rad. He's an icon, and we had a I was gonna say a going away party. We had a memorial show finally about 2 weeks ago because we could, in this kind of shitty dive bar that he used to hang out in. That's kind of a yuppie preppy college bar now, but the punks took it back for a night, and there was live music and many glasses tipped for Mr. Chai Pig. So it was dope. Yeah.
It was rad, dude. That was, like I said, I've had a lot of influences in my life, you know, of like the way I play, the way I try to put on a show, the way I play, and the way I try to convey my passion, you know, and he was one of them. You know, that tour, like, I'm like, dude, guy's in theater. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, he's theatrical, like.
Yeah, because he was putting on costumes and throwing shit in the crowd and swinging from the fucking rafters, like just a wild man.
Dude, my favorite, real good Chai story. Playing in Montreal. And, you know, I know that definitely Chai was privier to the larger gentleman.
Yes.
If you will. And, of course, you know, the security guard knew Chai very well for sure. And so he was a super good sport. And Chai was just in prime fucking form, like 96, Epitaph, you know what I mean? Fucking like 2,000 plus people. This big security guard up front. Chai just, you know, he's in full effect, right? Just a bunch of whipped cream. And just fucking makes a fucking whipped cream pie on dude's head and just licks it off. It's like, like, I can't even do anything. It's Chai. Like, really?
Yeah.
And then there's still remnants. And then Chai had like cheesy puffs, and they're going everywhere. They're sticking to his head. He was like, "Ah, Chai." So rad.
Yeah, man. Fucking legend, one of a kind. And you, my friend, are a fucking legend. One of a kind as well. I'm grateful, man, to be buds and for your time and for your fucking music, for your influence to journey down that vegan road and just kind of shift my mind, man. Good riddance with a lot of things in life, and fucking keep killing it, man.
Always.
Never give up. And we'll maybe have a beer or two in Vegas at Punk Rock Bowling.
Well.
Okay, bro. Thank you. Have a fucking rad night. We'll talk soon. Let's figure out that comedy stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
For sure.
All right, I'm out.
Later.
Thanks.
Of history through a lens free of abject denial, and the presence of fantasy, man of science, who put us to sleep. Standing post at the secrets that they keep. We've gone too far to turn back now, and the question becomes how will everything we've learned is wrong. Lest we forget all we've lost, have we wasted our best years for the sanctified traditions that we pray? Lest we forget, honestly, does it make you sick inside that we approximate democracy that way? Break the will of the young through restraint of the pen undone, bringing doctrine inside of our schools. Respect us as curriculum, now the system is running on fumes. There's an outcome we can't assume, dare to send down our choices away to recreate an American way, where everything we learn is wrong. Lest we forget all we've lost, have we wasted our best years for the sanctified traditions that we pray? Lest we forget